From the heart of Houston, it's fun, it's engaging, it's Chattin' with Chelsea. She's Daytime's new bestie. Here's your host, Chelsea Edwards. Come back to me. I've got the feeling. Come back.
Hey, besties. Welcome to another episode of Chattin' with Chelsea. I'm your daytime bestie, Chelsea Edwards. All right, serious face, because today we are getting into something that a lot of people don't talk about, but they definitely deal with. Healing during and after relationship trauma. All right? I mean, this could be cheating or any other form of betrayal. You could be in it right now and trying to grow through it. So today, we've got the tools and the inspiration to get you out stronger on the other side. Yes, we know relationships can be so complicated. Sometimes it's not what our partner did, but more so what they didn't do.
They don't cheat. But no flowers, no surprises, no dates, no texts for hours. The truth, laziness can destroy love just as much as lies. You know, it's not always the big betrayals that break a friendship or break a relationship. Sometimes it's the lack of effort, the slow fading, you know, the way you stop feeling chosen. So you deserve more than "I didn't do anything wrong." You deserve someone who does something right. The check-ins, the random hugs, the just because moments. That's love in action. So if you're still sitting there convincing yourself that it's enough just because they're not cheating, ask yourself, are you loved or just tolerated? Because the bare minimum is not romance. It's disrespect dressed up as peace.
Okay, well, we've got our favorite relationship chatters here to talk about it. Welcome back, Nicole Scott, Queen of Relationship Talk, and Dr. Viviana Coles, the intimacy expert. I know we're going to talk about trauma, but first, I want to get your take on this one, because it just, as she said, this could be a killer to relationships, just not doing anything at all.
It sounds like the relationship has become complacent, right? There's a difference in someone wanting you and valuing you, right? When you don't value something, you don't take care of it, right? You take it for granted. You kind of push it to the side. So you have, as a woman or as a man, you have to determine, if does this person value me? Do they show me that level of respect? Do they show me that they want me here? And if not, then we have to make a decision to move on.
And we've heard that love is a verb, and that's so true. And I love what she was saying, because the sentiment is, you need to know what you want. You need to know what makes you feel lit up, because ultimately, if you're going to be in a long-term relationship with someone, you want to feel like you are adding light and love and joy to their world, and that they're doing the same. And when you don't get that from someone else, that energy can really deflate you like a pop balloon, right? So I love what she said.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe there was effort. A lot of us experience this effort at the beginning, and then it kind of fades off. So it really takes some work, actually, on both sides to make that happen.
Well, and I think as an actual licensed marriage and family therapist, I kind of have to live this. I mean, we'll have been married for 18 years, and I feel like there is definitely some pressure to walk the walk, talk the talk, like do all of it. And a lot of that does look like making sure that we're having those difficult conversations as we grow and as we change as individuals. A lot of people forget to do that. As you're changing, as you're growing, yay you, but where's your partner in all of this, and where's your partnership?
I would also like to add that you have to make sure that you're not a space filler. So often you see people who are in relationships, not married, but in relationships for 10 plus years, then someone leaves and they get married within 6 months.
Oof, that's a tough one.
That happens because you were a space filler until they found someone that they really liked. Not love, but liked, had a level of compatibility with. And so that is also important.
Ooh, okay, some things to keep a lookout for. Oh, that hurt a little bit there. Now, when it comes to keeping the peace, as she mentioned, I mean, it's important to us, right? So how do you know when the things are peaceful or things are just like bland? Let's take a look at this video.
Came across a TikTok today that said, the wrong one will find you in peace and leave you in pieces. But the right one will find you in pieces and lead you to peace. I wasn't ready for that one today. The For You page came at me.
All right, he looked like he was about to cry on that.
I don't know about that one.
Okay.
That one wasn't on the nose for me like the other one was, but because I think for a lot of people, they might attract someone who has a savior complex, who wants to come in and sees you when you're at your lowest and wants to bring you up to wherever they want you. So being mindful, I'm going to like that one with an asterisk of be cautious.
Okay, so you could have some peace, but there could be some other unhealthy things going on as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're coming into a relationship in pieces, you may not have as much say as to how you look when you're whole. Whereas if you're actively working on becoming a whole person, and you know, I'm always talking about this idea that like you want to roll with somebody. In my book, The 4 Intimacy Styles, you want to roll with someone who can roll alongside you, and y'all can soften to each other's corners and edges. And if you come into something splayed open, like a lot of hearts are after a betrayal, a trauma, or just a really bad breakup, then you may not know what the glue is going to be that puts you together, and again, what that whole person is going to end up looking like.
That's so good.
There has to be a level of accountability on both parts, okay? So often we want to be in relationships so bad that we overlook the red flags, right? The difference between red and green. And sometimes when we're not whole, we just get into stuff. It was already in shambles at the very beginning, but we ignore it because we're so desperate for a relationship, right? So we have to have the intuition, right? We have to be able to observe and point out whether those are green flags or red flags. And when you see those red flags, it is time to make a change, not stay in to see if it's going to get better, right? We have to be accountable for our own actions.
Ooh, all right. This is about to be a good show. We are getting started off in the right direction. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Dr. V chatting about how to heal after that trauma. Be right back. Right, we're back. We have to split you ladies up because there's a lot to chat about here. Dr. V, let's get into healing during trauma. One of the biggest, I guess, traumas that a couple can face is cheating. Like, cheating is huge. So let's start with that. How, let's say we find out, like we discover something. How do we even approach the conversation that, hey, you cheated on me?
So a couple of things. There is a difference between dealing with discovery and disclosure. If someone discloses, hey, I have feelings for someone else, or I cheated on you with someone else, you're going to feel a little differently or a lot differently than if you were to find out and they didn't tell you. First and foremost, I would ask them, give them the opportunity, whether or not you believe they deserve it at the moment, give them the opportunity to tell you exactly what happened. What you're not going to do, listen up.
Throw the pictures in their
Is
face.
talk to everybody else before you talk to them.
Okay.
That is a huge problem. It's something that we work with all the time at Houston Relationship Therapy, is trying to help couples who want to see if they can work through life after infidelity. And you know, 60 to 70% of couples who experience cheating or infidelity or that sort of partner betrayal, they actually end up staying together.
Really?
So it's a big deal, and for a lot of people, how they find out is a big deal. But more than that, it's asking their partner and saying, "What happened? I found this. What's going on?" Give them the opportunity to disclose more and to share more. It could make or break whether or not y'all can work through it.
During that initial conversation, does the person usually offer the why, or is there more digging for that?
So, yes, within, I would say, 24 hours, you're going to want to find out the why. I will say a lot of people don't really know the real why. They know that it was out of convenience and there was opportunity. A lot of cheating happens because of lowered inhibitions due to alcohol or substance abuse and opportunity. Someone threw themselves at them. Someone came for them hard. And some people really struggle, especially, but not always, especially when those things are lacking in their own relationship. That is never going to be an excuse. There will never be an excuse for betraying your partner and being deceitful, period. But a lot of people will say, I felt disconnected. I feel like I was almost more likely to have this happen and we were more at risk because we were feeling disconnected for a prolonged period of time.
Okay, so what if we are, or we want to be in that percentage of couples that bounce back? Like, I really want to be with this person, whether I've spent my whole life with them or, you know, a shorter period of time, I want to see this through. So what's the next step after, you know, after having that initial conversation?
Call Houston Relationship Therapy.
Okay.
And I mean it.
Yeah,
I
like,
mean
call
it
us,
because
please.
you're going to need professional help. Most people do not know a productive, effective, and healthy way to work through all of these feelings on their own. Why not get someone to help guide you through it, especially if your intention is to try to work through it? Now look, if you know that you are not going to forgive, not going to forget, that's for sure, and you are ready to just burn everything to the ground, don't waste your time. Go out, you know, get your girlfriends and say, help me move out. Like, or get your guy friends and say, like, can you help me with a truck? Let's go. But I do think for a lot of people who do want to work through it, it's getting help professionally and, again, not sharing everything with everyone, even though that's your inclination.
When the first response for a lot of people is anger, how do they know when they have given up or when they're just still angry, like they're still sorting through their feelings? How do they know, like, okay, it's actually time for me to move on?
I always say, like, if you've been cheated on, you feel like your partner has just thrown you into a pile of bleep. And if let's say they stopped, because most of the time they're like, okay, it's not happening anymore. So they're out of it, they're out of that, and they're looking back at you and saying, hey, look, just get over it, come over here. It smells better, it's cleaner, it's much better over here, you can breathe better. But they're not willing to get back into it because they need to meet their partner where they are emotionally and hold their hand and walk them out. If they're not willing to do that, especially if it's been 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and they just cannot, and all you hear is, can't you get over it? Can't you get over it? I'm not cheating anymore. Can't you get over it? And they're not willing to really be in it with you, it's probably not going to work out.
Oof.
Most of the time, I would just say it's not going to work out.
Okay.
That's the least that you need is your partner support. The person who put you in this issue is not willing to help you out of it? No, it's not going to work.
How do you make that call as a therapist? Y'all are really good at guiding us to answers, but not giving them to us outright, right?
Right. So, I mean, I tend to be a little bit direct, and I will tell people, look, you have done everything that I've asked you to do, and y'all are still not able to connect over this. Or you are still expecting that your partner get over this without actually helping them through it. So I will tell them, chances are you're not going to be able to get to the next healthier step. And based off of what I've seen, unless there's something really different going on or that you want to bring to the table as a last-ditch effort, we're done.
Ah, okay. All right. Could we're done happen in, you said, like 9 months?
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. I would say like 18 months, that gets you through the anniversary of it. That gets you through to possibly what a lot of people need to do is create new opportunities to connect. A year is plenty of time to do that, to work through triggers, to work through setbacks, all of those things. Plus, love each other more, get more engaged with each other, that sort of thing. 18 months, I would say, is like the longest you should go before really being able to say, we're done, or we're in such a better place now. Most people will not say this, but they will feel it. I think that a lot of couples who go through that and work through it with a therapist will say, we're in a better place now. We would never want to do that again.
Right.
But we're in a better place now.
Okay. Oh, thank you for getting us to a better place through this conversation, helping a lot of people out there. Dr. V. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with Nicole Scott helping us to get to that better place as well. All right.
Come back to me.
continuing our chat on how to heal after trauma in a relationship. Chanel Nicole Scott, queen of relationship talk. All right, so we talked about cheating and infidelity, but there are other forms of trauma like abuse. Is there a way to get back to yourself after that type of trauma?
Absolutely. It's a process, though. Healing is not passive. Sometimes you hear that old saying, time heals all wounds. No, but you have to work through complex emotions like anger and sadness and fear and unforgiveness, you know, those type of emotions. And then you got to become one with yourself again, because there's an issue of self-betrayal, like I allowed this to happen, and learning how to forgive yourself through that.
Amen to that. Now, a lot of people may not even realize they are in an abusive relationship. Like they're just used to that toxicity for one reason or another. How do you recognize that this is not good?
Right. So often people connect through trauma bonding, right? We have a similar trauma and we come together because we have that in common. And then you'll start seeing the traits come out, the jealousy, the emotional manipulation, the controlling behavior. If it feels uncomfortable, if it violates your boundary, that is a red flag right there to recognize that this is not a healthy situation for me.
Okay, so pay attention to those red flags, as we say. What are some ways that you've seen these red flags pop up? You talked a little bit about jealousy too.
Yeah, when someone is overly jealous, or someone tries to isolate you from your family and friends. So now you don't even get to see your family and friends because they quote unquote want you to yourself. And so often some women think that that's cute, like, oh my God, he just wants to spend time with me, he just wants to be with me
so much.
But that's toxic, right? There should be a healthy balance where you have your own identity and you're not attaching your identity or living vicariously through someone else, right? And they should want you to have that have your own identity.
So you can notice some things if they are pushing back on you, you know, being able to do your own thing, hang with your own people.
You can't go out, you can't do this, I can't wear this, I can't go here, I can't be, now you're picking my friends, I can't be friends with this person, you know, or the jealousy, you know, why is this person, why, you know, what's the nature of this relationship, or accusatory behavior, because a lot of times when you get the accusatory behavior, that's because something is going on behind the scenes that you know nothing about. Now they're projecting that on you. So pay attention to the accusatory behavior.
Okay, sounds like you don't have peace, for one.
Absolutely.
All right, so when we're realizing that this is not right and it's time to move on, what do you recommend as far as, let's say we've ended that relationship, but we do want to heal, we do want to get back to ourselves, what's the starting point?
So first of all, you got to be honest with yourself. So often we don't like to take accountability, we like to point the finger to the other person. So that involves self-reflection, right? What part did I play in this situation? How did I get here? You have to be brutally honest with yourself, right? That may involve going to therapy, right? Having a conversation with someone else, allowing them to hear you speak, and then pinpointing the toxic behavior and being able to identify it back to you. And then having a great support group, right? You need to be able to bounce some of this stuff off of someone else, and being able to receive constructive criticism, even if it's not in your favor, right? Not having a bunch of yes people around you, but people who can tell you the truth, right? These are not your friends and they can't be honest with you. If every time you find yourself getting upset because someone is trying to tell you the truth, because they're on the outside looking in, so they have a clear view of what's happening, whereas when we're on the inside looking out, we don't necessarily, we're in the frame, so we can't see the whole picture. So have someone that you can trust, that can speak into your life and hold you accountable, right? And make it known when, okay, certain behaviors are not healthy anymore.
So is there a line that we should be aware of? Dr. V was saying, you know, don't necessarily run off, tell everybody your business. If you do want to be in a relationship that will rebound, but we're talking about a different situation where that's just completely unhealthy. So there's a difference from like a betrayal that we can bounce back from as a couple to like, hey, I need to get up out of this.
Right. So you have to be discerning about who you surround yourself with, first of all, right? You got to have good people who want your best interest at heart. Now, you know when you got that jealous friend that don't want to see you win. Like, I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah,
you know
keep it
when
real.
you have that friend who doesn't want to see you win, and every time they have something negative to say, well, I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about that person who genuinely wants to see you win, who genuinely wants to see you happy. Someone who can hold you accountable and who can tell you the truth.
Okay. Any other ways you recommend we heal from that relationship trauma when we have chosen to be by ourselves?
So this is the thing. Before you even get into a relationship, let's start there so that we don't even have to go through this whole healing journey, is we got to know our purpose. You know me, know who you are, know your God-given assignment. Don't attach your value or your identity to someone else. That's where we get messed up. That's when we get caught up in those toxic relationships, because we allow those relationships to identify who we are, when in fact you are good all by yourself.
Yes.
So if you know your purpose, if you know who you are, if something isn't working out, and typically we know when it's not working out, but we want to keep going. We want to keep going, and that's a sign that we don't know who we are. That is a sign that we don't love ourselves. I so often ask, like, how do you know that you love yourself? Typically, if I say, Chelsea, do you love yourself instinctively? You're going to say yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. But if you're in a relationship where you allow someone to mistreat you or mishandle you, there is a deficit there. That's a red flag.
Ooh,
Don't even take it any further, because you don't want that. But so often we'll say, well, you know, we make excuses. They're busy.
Yeah.
Right? They're working. No, they're not making time for you. That you're in the meantime type of person in this situation.
Yeah.
So we got to be honest with ourselves
Okay.
and be patient. Take your time. Don't rush to get into a relationship. Make sure it's a good fit for you. Make sure that you guys have compatibility. That's another thing that we skip. We'll meet someone who's attractive. They're attractive, but you don't have anything in common. There's no
Yeah.
compatibility. So
Yeah.
now all we have is, oh, you're attractive, and maybe we have the intimacy part down, but we don't even get along.
Okay, great stuff. I mean, we could talk about this all day, but also
So many
things that
directions.
we can take after we've gotten out that relationship. You
Yes.
got to remember all these things, get that purpose
Yeah.
and get that vision going.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
guys, we have to take a break. All right, we'll be right back after this. I want to thank you for watching this episode of Chatting with Chelsea, and thank my guests, Nicole Scott and Dr. Viviana Coles, for coming in and giving us such great advice. All right, you guys keep up with us on social at Chelsea Show Fox, and we'll see you on the next Chatting with Chelsea.